Hi everyone, it's Natalie here. Welcome and happy 4th of July. Yeah, I can't believe we've already made it as far as the 4th of July, but it would seem that we have. Unbelievable, unbelievable. So, I don't know about anyone else, but this was fascinating energy-wise. The rah-rah was definitely fascinating. I'm not sure that it went the way it would normally go. I'm curious to know how it went for you. Um, we had a lot of weird things go on all week, kind of unsettling. In fact, we had a minor house fire um, earlier in the week, last weekend, and it was really distressing. There was no damage, almost no damage. It happened inside of a pot that was left on the stove. Um, I did not leave it on the stove. I'm not blaming anyone. But we know it was not me. So, Trinley, you better watch that from now on. It was terrifying because it got left on while we were out of the house. And we didn't discover it until we got home. We'd both left the house for the evening and came home to find the whole house full of smoke. So also discovering that all of our smoke alarms and fire alarms were just defunct. And I guess so out of date, or the battery power had gone so far off that we didn't hear beeps. It didn't give us notification that something was not working. So they've all been replaced. Suffice it to say, they've all been replaced. And then following that, our air conditioning broke. So I went for brunch on Sunday morning with my dear friend Patrice, and to celebrate Pride. And it was really shocking because it was good to be outside because it was cooler outside than it was in. Let's put it that way. And then Monday morning, we woke up and Tom found that his tire had gone flat on his car. And it's taken all week to get it fixed. So I don't know about I don't know. I'm just curious to know how did that work out for you? Did not work out so well here. Kind of threw the week off completely. Thankfully, everybody's okay. The pets were okay. We're okay. The house does not stink as bad as one might think it would after lots of smoke and fire damage, or smoke and fire in the house. You'd think there would be some damage. There really wasn't. There's some parts of the house in which I can smell the remainder of smoke more than others. Mostly it's in clothing. I had done a whole bunch of laundry and all of the face masks came out, had to be rewashed. So I'm still catching up from all the laundry that we had to do. But yeah, we watch the pets really carefully for smoke inhalation and things like that. It was very upsetting, suffice it to say, but really, surprising in terms of there not being any damage or repercussions for it, for a mistake like that. So, very grateful. Very, very, very grateful. Also, the AC was something that we were able to fix ourselves. Actually, Tom was able to fix the AC. So that was also a relief because without that, it could have been really, really expensive. So there's that as well. So let me know, how did that whole, double fire thing work out for all of you? Because it was a little unsettling over here. So let's see what we have. I guess it could have been worse, and maybe we were protected from it being worse. I don't know. But yeah, it was really odd. Really, really odd. So anyway, let's see what we have in store for this week, shall we? Let's find out what that's going to be. I'll go ahead and start my practice, I guess, and we'll find out. patana di, Omara patana di, Omara patana di, Omara patana di, Omara patana di. Okay, so let's, I need to light my candle. My candle is not lit. You might imagine I'm a little skittish about things being on fire right now. It's been a little bit, well, maybe I dare say even a lot, like, off-putting. So, okay, so we want to know for the coming week, July 4th through the 10th, what we can expect in terms of the outer conditions affecting the week. And I need to move my bell and dorje so I've got space to do the casting here. Okay. Okay, so pa. That's a little better. We've had a lot of pa going on here as well. Interestingly, we've had a lot of rain, a lot of water of late. Pa is water, and it's nectar specifically. Let's find out what else. The inner conditions. What are the inner conditions for the week to come? Oh, okay. Tsa, pa tsa. So the second syllable is tsa. So we'll find out what tsa means. And of course, those two syllables tend not to go together particularly well. Yeah, as we recall, this is the other reverse of it. Empty of intelligence is tsa pa, but we're looking for pa tsa. Well, okay, so not the best this week, guys. Not the best. It's not great either way. You have a new one. Who knows how it'll turn out? The last week was supposed to be a very positive one. This one's not so positive. So this will be interesting. So what I saw when I was doing the meditation part of this was I saw Manjushri come forward, like really aggressive at first, and then just for a split second, and then he burst out laughing, which I thought was very interesting. And he laughed and laughed and laughed and laughed and laughed. And in fact, the visualization took over to the extent that I just kind of had to pause and just wait, like, okay, well, I'll wait until you're ready to move on. Because this is, I don't know what's going on, but it was just a lot of laughter. It didn't seem wicked necessarily. It was just laughing, kind of like the gods are laughing at us a little bit. So I'm offering that because I don't feel like, even when I'm going to flip the card over, I don't want anyone to get too distressed. In theory, the flames and the butter for rah-rah should have been pretty auspicious, generally speaking. And for some of you, it may have been. I would say it was relatively inauspicious where I live. Anyone suffering from great heat, we had an awful lot of heat waves last week. I was very aware of how grateful I was that I was not living in a part of the country where heat is out of control, like the Northwest. So I offered this one, knowing that it is not necessarily going to be positive, but that we need to keep it in perspective, I think. So it's the demon of afflictions. So if Patsa, the demon of afflictions, appears, then happiness will be destroyed, just as the earth below the ocean is torn away by currents. Okay, so we may have an overwhelming amount of emotions that come up that seem to erode away at the ground upon which we stand. that is my first impression. I think that we have, I think Manjushri is laughing because, to remind us like it's impermanent. When Buddhas laugh, it's usually because they're seeing beyond the circumstances that are offered. Whether those circumstances are good or bad, they're able to see beyond that. Yeah. So I just throw that out there because I feel like that's where we're headed with this. Let's see what the divination for the demon of afflictions is, shall we? So this sign of this divination is known as the victorious Yaksha demon who dwells at the outer gate of the north, said. This is where you know that the publishers did it formulaically and didn't think about grammar or how to put it together. The ocean was agitated and muddied by the tale of the malicious Naga. So Nagas are sea spirits or water spirits in Tibetan cosmology. So they occupy any place that there's water. I'm guessing a Naga offering is probably a good thing this week based on this. So yeah, in terms of family, property, and life, there are obstructions and great disturbances, not surprisingly. I'm going to guess that there would be like plumbing problems potentially. So just things to be on the lookout for, possible flooding, basements that flood, things to be looking out for, right? Intentions and aims. For anything that you intend or aim, there are disturbances of mind and unhappiness. So just being aware of dissatisfaction this coming week, that may be a part of things. It's impermanent, right? Friends and wealth. The outlook is unfavorable. They are dust. They are like dust being carried away by the wind. So maybe not the best week for income for a lot of us, or socialization. Interesting because a lot of people won't really have, like they'll have the celebration of the holiday over the weekend and then they'll get like Monday off. So I don't know. Enemies. There is most probably an enemy. Especially you will face harm from the east or the north. There will most probably be a suit filed against you. So yeah, if wow, I have a family member engaged in a lawsuit right now, so it might be possible to talk to her about that or do another divination on her behalf, particularly or specifically. So yeah, again, keeping it in perspective. Guests. Those on the journey will be endangered by getting lost, having something broken, or falling. So, again, these mean very different things, I think, when we look at it. When we think about, like, the Tibetan steppe, or the steppes where they were out on these, like, really high altitude plains, this makes a lot more sense, right? Enemies could literally just come over a hill, over a set of mountains, through a valley, out of nowhere, and suddenly impact or afflict people, right? So looking in a particular direction would have been helpful to know, because then you tell the people who are sentinels, like, look in that direction. If you see anything, here's a horn, blow it, let us know. Similarly, if you're on a journey trying to get to Tibet from someplace else, or to get from one part of Tibet to another, it would be easy to get lost. Having something broken could mean that you're delayed by days or days, hours, a long time. And falling, of course, is fatal. So, for your own personal landscape, how do those play out, right? When we put those into contemporary context. Illness. So there are air diseases and diseases of the veins and tendons that hamper movement. Interesting. In order to remedy the pain you are experiencing from these, it is necessary to make torma offerings to the spirits and also to perform 3 parts ritual as many times as possible. Also recite various sutras and the prayer of Samantabhadra, release animals, and perform the 4 mandalas ritual of Tara. It would be good to perform the meditation retreat of Achala as well. So, wow, that's a lot to unpack. So I actually have a friend from the Korean Buddhist community that I used to be a part of who was called Achala, but this necklace has a pendant of Achala on it. And it's one my mom found somewhere, like on a clearance sale rack. And she thought, oh, I'm sure that's a Buddha of some sort. I'm going to get that for Natalie, which is really sweet. Yeah, Achala also carries a sword in the same way that Manjushri does. They're not thought to be the same deity or being, but it is thought that Achala, who, in terms of time comes a long time after Manjushri, may be an incarnation of Manjushri. His duty was more protective than wisdom. And Manjushri is wisdom. Manjushri is transcendent wisdom that's embodied and accessible and less mysterious, right? Prajna Paramita is more open and more, a little bit harder to access in terms of pinpointing and specificity. But putting the wisdom of Prajna in a male form in some ways makes it more direct and accessible. So I'm thinking that that's part of what the purpose of Manjushri is. Let's look a little bit more closely at, so air diseases and veins, disease of the veins and tendons. So that would indicate if you're into Ayurveda, that would be a Vata affliction. So afflictions that affect Vata or an excess of Vata in the system. Yeah, there's a lot to there's a lot here. When you talk about releasing animals, sometimes if you take animals who have been captured, to take them out and, that are captured for food or whatever, to take them out and free them and release them back into the wild or out of their cages is often regarded as like a very auspicious practice. I think it's even in the... I think there's even a card in the Buddha Tarot that specifies that particular thing. Yeah, in this card is the 3 of Lotuses, so that would be like the 3 of Wands. And this guy is performing a releasing of the fish. So taking a fish that's been caught and releasing it back to the water so that it can have its own life and have a life back is regarded as a way of opening up possibilities for oneself through an act of great compassion, right? So compassionate, I would say that also includes any compassionate activities that we may engage in over the coming week, that would also have that type of effect. And the 4 mandalas ritual of Tara. These are all very, very highly specific, and I think would be things practiced by monastics, right? So, yeah, anything we can do that brings peace of mind and peace to the body in any way is going to be helpful in general. Let's just say that much. Evil spirits, moving on. There is an attack of spirits belonging to the wood or green class. This is probably caused by a Naga ritual or black magic being done against you. Also, you are being harmed by reciprocal fighting, people saying bad things about you, or by having gone to gatherings where there is fighting and quarreling. So, is that any surprise that people gossiping about you, attending or being in environments where people are engaged in gossip and ugliness and so forth, where there's fighting or quarreling, that would tend to give rise to some evil spirits, right, in here. Very interesting, right? So finding ways to be with that to be at ease with ourselves, to be at ease with, maybe not at ease, but to find ways of being with the difficulty as it arises. Pretty important, right? These are kind of reminders of why we practice. They're reminders of why we practice. Spiritual practice. Your mind will be disturbed, agitated, and unhappy. You will break your vows. Therefore, you should rely upon a chala, perform torma-repelling rituals of a wrathful deity, hang prayer flags, and clean the dust from dharma books. That's a good one. That's a good one. Yeah. And like most things, again, we remember self-compassion's important here. We want to get up and dust ourselves off, be grateful for what we have. I'm thinking like gratitude practice might be real good right about now. Being able to see the things in our lives that we have that are concrete, that are right in front of us, and which we can be reminded of as evidence of things that are okay, things that are well, things that are going okay. That could be very, very helpful. I did that a lot, like I said last week. It was less, it was gratitude for things that were going well, for things that were taken care of, for things that were okay. Just finding those things where you can be grateful for, noticing the ways in which maybe your circumstances are still in many ways better than that of other people, right? It's easy sometimes for people when, for any of us, right, when we're feeling low or feeling like something's not right, to immediately begin to look around and say like, oh my gosh, everything's terrible and there's nothing going well. It's never true. First of all, second, right, hence Manjushri laughing, right? It's never true. And second, when you look around at the circumstances of other people around you or in other parts of the country that we can access through the news and so forth, there's always someone who's in a worse position than you are. So being reminded that your position really is not bad can sometimes be enough to kind of help snap you out of it and uplift, right? So, this is all going to be pretty predictable, right? The article that, Lost Articles, the article went into the wrong hands and will not be returned. When will they come? Will they come and will the task be accomplished? No. We can just say no. Since your mind is very disturbed, it will be difficult to accomplish the task. So this may also be nagas of the mind, right? This may also be difficult circumstances of the mind. Demons are always difficult circumstances of the mind. Yeah. All remaining matters they're just unfavorable, especially the agitation of your mind and thoughts is great. However, there will be success in doing evil actions, such as causing people to separate, causing someone to leave you and the like, right? There will be benefit by constructing small clay yellow stupas and other types of yellow stupas. This prediction is known as the boiling of agitation. So anything that we can do that calms the emotions, calms the heart, and calms agitation is going to be really, really helpful right now because it's necessary. So we're laughing, I'm laughing, I'm using the kind of like the smile, but I really mean it in the same way, I hope anyway, as Manjushri, right? Which is that sometimes when the mind is afflicted, the best thing we can do is laugh. Sometimes the best thing we can do in the face of evil or difficulty is laugh because it seeps the power away from it. Difficult circumstances last week with fire, difficult circumstances this week with water. I'm really curious to see how that's going to turn out in terms of results. And, again, let me know how this worked out for you last week and again this week, or if there's anything that resonates. If anyone in the group out here that's kind of watching these, sorry, really itchy nose, is experiencing a lot of suffering at the moment or difficulty, or if you were in a position where it would be really helpful to have a loving kindness practice, or for me to record some kind of a meditation practice that could be used, let me know. That's something I'm always open to. I have a lot of tools in the toolbox. I just don't always know which ones are the best ones to offer or share. So knowing that is helpful. Let me know. Otherwise, hang in there. Remember to laugh, and I will see you again for the tarot reading, and hopefully again for some different content that I've been hoping to produce all week and haven't gotten to. Okay. Take care. Bye.